I think your mind can do way more than what you think it can do. And I'm experimenting with that. And if you'd like to learn how you can do that yourself, this is the channel for you. I actually don't really know how to start this video because I want to make a hook and an opening that is capturing so that a lot of people get to see this video, because I think what I've learned in the past 3 weeks has completely surprised me and blown me away. But at the same time, it also brought me more into contact with who I am, and I'm just not a showman hook type of guy. You know what I mean? I like to speak from my heart. And I just want to start with, hey guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. This video is about how I use affirmations in my day-to-day life. And it is a very natural follow-up of something that I worked on for the past months, which is hypnotic speaking and thinking and meditations, and how to access your unconscious mind. How to access your unconscious mind in a conscious way so that you can actually seed some kind of intentions that will then grow and come out in your day-to-day life. So if you are into psychology at all, and specifically into Jungian psychology, and a bit more of the spiritual, esoteric kind of side of knowledge and wisdom, then you know that your unconscious is a huge pool of information and wisdom as well. And it also has a lot to do with your desires, etc. And sometimes your unconscious can bring up certain things in your day-to-day life that you're not super happy with, that you would rather not have. Usually it's something that you need to learn how to deal with. And well, there's a lot of knowledge in your unconscious, but also there are certain things that happen that you don't know why, that you would rather not have. And there can also be certain patterns that you would probably like to reduce a little bit because they don't serve you. Maybe they never served you, maybe they don't serve you anymore. And there is a way in which, through hypnosis basically, and hypnosis doesn't mean anything else except bringing you through deeper levels of your consciousness and communicating with those and making suggestions, most of all. And you can do that in order to, like I said, plant the seeds of things that you would like to see in your day-to-day life, or thoughts that you would like to have more often. So I made a bunch of videos because I was always fascinated with hypnosis, where I explained how hypnosis works, the individual steps on how you get someone's attention, how you take that attention and focus it on something else, how you take that focus and connect it to all kinds of statements that are probably true, and then maybe they're true, and then they become a little bit more speculative, and how you can take someone's conscious mind and drag it deeper and deeper into a more symbolic realm of things. And that's the place where you can actually give suggestions at the deepest level that you can. So yeah, I made a whole series on hypnosis. Then I made a video on how you can create your own guided meditation. I've used that guided meditation, and it's for the special intention of getting more into the flow state. But I wanted something more ready for day-to-day use. So I needed something a little bit more easy accessible, something that I would also want to iterate on a couple of times. So I wrote a kind of affirmation script. And I do start with an induction, which brings me deeper into the unconscious and opens me up for suggestions. But then I go quite quickly into affirmations, which is saying what, basically stating the kind of person that I want to be from the point of view as if I already am that kind of person. So to give a clear example, I want to quote something from my affirmation script, which starts, well, we have the induction, but then once you go deep, the starting point is actually I breathe in and I remember who I am. This also already sets the scene that you remember that time is an illusion, and you actually are already the person that you would like to become. And then things that I say is I'm calm, I am calm, I am grounded. I walk my own path with purpose and with peace. I accept whatever comes my way, for it is a gift. I respond with wisdom, with the voice of my soul. Well, these kind of things. I wrote this specifically for myself, and I recorded this. You can record something like this as well on your phone, and then I just listened to that 3 times a day at least for the past weeks. And what I found out is really amazing, I can say. I've been going through different phases of this whole project. When I started off, I had a version, and I realized very quickly that I made some mistakes. So I used a lot of negatives. And if you have followed my guided meditation videos, you know that negatives are not accessible by your unconscious mind. So no is not very easy to comprehend. It means the absence of something, but that is not an easy concept to get into. So if I tell you, you are not stupid, on a conscious level, you can understand the concept of not, but on an unconscious level, you only understand stupid, and you bring to your mind's eye an image of something that you associate with stupid, or the feeling of being stupid, etc. So if you want to make suggestions, you should always avoid the negative. And I had a lot of things like, I am not stuck, I am not static. So, and I removed these parts. This was a pretty quick iteration. So you want to have something that focuses on the positive. So if you say, I don't want to be unhappy, what you rather want to say is, I am happy. So you're already there. It's already the existing state, and it is a positive version of what you want. If you don't want to be stressed, you say, I am relaxed. So this is the way in which you can very easily make this kind of affirmation script. But there was something else going on, and that was, I think, the most worth noting and the strangest part, which was, I felt a huge resistance for all the positive things, maybe not all, but like a lot of positive things that I was trying to tell myself that I have, that I am. I felt a huge resistance because I thought, but I don't. So there was an inner voice in my mind that kept saying to me, yeah, but this is not you. You are actually not accepting everything in the way that it comes. You are not powerful. You're not strong. You're not grounded. You are not wise. And what actually happened was, I felt so depressed after listening to these affirmations. And it went on like that for over a week. And I really didn't know what to do. I said, okay, this is an experiment. I just want to continue doing it to see what it does. Is this a wall that I need to break through? Or is there something wrong with the script? Or am I maybe scripting the wrong thoughts? Is this not sincerely what myself with the capital S would like me to become? You know, so am I drifting away because of external like layovers onto my experience? What then happened was that I had a long drive back home, and I did that in silence because I thought I wanted to really think about this and meditate on it and see what kind of thoughts would come up. And then when I finally drove, I pulled up with my car into the parking lot right in front of my house that I'm looking at right now. I got this kind of click. I got this realization that I could connect to something that I learned also via Carl Jung, the different works that he wrote, is that being weak does not exist without being powerful. Being powerful doesn't exist without being weak. Love doesn't exist without hate. And wisdom doesn't exist without ignorance and stupidity. And it doesn't exist in the world, but it also cannot exist manifested in a specific person. And Jung talks about it quite cryptically, and I think I can also not do any better job at explaining it, but it has something to do with the opposites are just the same thing looked at from a different point of view. It's the same kind of tension. The tension is a thing that you want to differentiate between one and the other, but that difference does not really exist. That's just a perception question. And I think there's, of course, like this temporal thing that in order to become old and wise, you must once be young and stupid. Then you make a lot of mistakes, etc. But I think there's even more to it, and maybe that's a more metaphysical way to understand it. That in order to be really strong, you also have to be really weak. Jung said that for a tree to have his branches reach the heaven, the roots have to reach all the way down to hell. So let me just quickly read to you what I tried to summarize that evening. So there were two parts from my affirmations that I was trying to think about. And I had this already in my affirmation, which I think was quite smart to put that in. I had, I am open to growth, open to lessons, open to the mystery the universe holds for me. I make peace with evil. I see the contradictions, the paradoxes. It is all one. Desire and desirelessness, love and hate, all are one. I am an instrument playing my part of the great symphony. And I think that this was already an underlying thought that I had about this at the time. And then it started to make its way into my conscious. And I realized that I was starting to feel all these feelings of this opposite thing just as a part of the full experience coming up. So in order to play high notes, there has to be something like the low notes. And if you actually want to have the high notes pop out and be seen, you have to play low notes in contrast, in a harmony. And I think that is kind of the thing, that if you want to accentuate the highs, you need to have the baseline of the lows in notes, that is. And I think there is somehow the connection in this song, in this melody, about weakness and strength, and let's say evil and goodness, that you need to have both in order to make this actually the tension and the melody visible. I wrote at that time, I think I'm starting to get it. In order to be strong and powerful, I must be weak. Not in a transformation sense that I first am weak and then strong, but actually at the same time. It doesn't make logical sense, but it makes paradoxical sense. In order to be loved, I must be hated. In order to live, I must die. In order to be high, I must be low. In order to be truthful, I must lie. I think the resistance I feel is just a counterpart of what I'm manifesting, trying to find its way out of my unconscious. I need to just as much indulge in desire as I want desirelessness. I need to freeze in the void as much as I need to burn in the fire of existence. So I found this an incredibly interesting thought, and it kind of clicked in my mind. I have a hard time to really articulate it. I'm trying for almost 15 minutes now to do that. I hope you're still with me, because what happened after this click is that I started listening to the voice recordings that I had, and it gave me so much joy. And I was like, yes, now I feel it. Like, now I'm there. I got hyped up by these voice recordings. I was at the point where, or I am at the point where I truly enjoy listening to it. And I'm thinking of additional things that I can add now. Now that I understand this concept and I know that what it can bring to me is, I'm very open to this idea now. I think that what we basically do is we go down into the unconscious mind, which you can see as a garden, and then we plant all these seeds of things that we would like to have and experience in our day-to-day conscious life. And then we manifest that, and these things just grow out of our unconscious mind. Maybe we become more open to it. Maybe we vibrate in a different way. I don't know how it works, but it works, because since I started this experiment, I realized that the things that I started to play with in my mind, the things that I use in my affirmations, these things I have started to feel them more and more. So I started to feel more powerful and strong and grounded and confident. And so I think that there can be a huge part of placebo, of course, but it doesn't matter to me. I don't care if it's placebo or not. I feel great. and I can recommend this to you guys as well. I think this is truly the way in which many people on Instagram and social media are also offering to give their tips and guides for you to reprogram your mind and reprogram your structure of consciousness. I think your mind can do way more than what you think it can do, and I'm experimenting with that. And if you'd like to learn how you can do that yourself, this is the channel for you. Hey, maybe that was a pretty good introduction. Maybe I'll like cut that out, put that at the beginning. Probably I'll do that. So yeah, this was my crazy experiment, which I will continue and which I will add on. If you'd like me to drop just the script that I currently have in the chat, it's a bit personal, but I don't mind sharing it if that would be helpful for you. So let me know in the comments if you like that. Like the video if you like the video. And don't forget to have a great day.